Welcome back to the channel. As always, I've missed you. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. Here are all the notes I took from the first episode of Sister Wives. So we're going to get through that. But first, I have some administrivia to talk about. I started a podcast called Shrink Space with a friend and coworker named Dr. Rob Patterson. We're two psychologists. And on the podcast, we discuss issues, concepts in psychology. Most often, Rob and I don't fully agree, so it makes for a fun debate. The most recent episode was about the Trump-Harris debate. So check it out. Listen to more than 5 minutes before you attack me in the comments, though. Okay, you have to listen to the whole podcast before you comment. So check that out. And then also, Allison, my wife, and I have a live stream tomorrow, Thursday, September 19th at 7 p.m. We are responding to listener questions. If you've got a question for us, send it to DavidColarossiPhD at gmail.com. I think that is it. So, Sister Wives. So if you look at the amount of notes I have, you would think, well, this must have been a riveting episode. It was not. The TLC has just essentially kept the conversation going from 2022. So before Garrison's passing, before Christine's wedding, before McKelty had her twins. So it's a little bit like the whole audience knows the whole audience is 2 years ahead of the story, but there were some nuggets of information. So let's first start by talking about Robyn. The first thing I learned was that Robyn is incredibly tolerant of flies.
If that wasn't just the catalyst of realization for everybody, especially me.
So in that way, Robyn she attracts a lot. She attracts Kody and all other creatures. That's the first thing. Number two, we learned that Robyn is processing the breakup of the family at an absolutely glacial speed.
You know that every night when I go to bed, I see my home on that piece of land over there? That I see Janelle's house, I see Meri's house, I did see Christine's house.
It's like in the the Kubler-Ross stages of grief, she is just like glitching back and forth between bargaining and denial, bargaining and denial, bargaining and denial, and seems to really be struggling to understand how not just how Kody's behavior has impacted people, but she's not able to hear when she's given really direct feedback that people no longer want to be part of the family.
I mean, Meri didn't seem like she was never going to be out here.
She didn't to you?
She didn't have like a definite no, I'm not.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah!
And then number three, I thought this line was fascinating.
Well, no, you and Janelle, like, you guys could still get this figured out.
I don't.
Well, don't, like, you just need to, like, keep trying.
Robyn believes that Kody has been trying in his relationship with Janelle. So, like, I look at it and go, I think Kody hasn't put effort into his relationship with his kids. I don't think he's put real effort into his relationships with any of the wives besides Robyn. And I think it's very obvious to everybody. I think he neglects anybody that doesn't make him feel good. But it's interesting to me that Robyn can be present and see Kody's interactions with everybody, and her takeaway is he's trying, he should just keep trying. It's just like she has I don't know if it's rose-colored glasses or a blindfold on, but she is not seeing how people are interacting around her. And that brings us to Robyn's main man, Kody, who we learned also struggles to really understand what's causing what. Kody thinks his wives are leaving him because he had the horrible idea of wanting them to live in one house.
I wonder if I would have never suggested that, if that wasn't just the catalyst.
Nothing to do with how he treated them, nothing to do with how he treated the kids, nothing to do with his ego, nothing to do with any of that. It's because he had the vision for having the family all in one spot. I think he actually believes that. Sometimes when Robyn's talking about the family, you think, is she just playing dumb? Like, how could she really not get this? In Kody's situation, I think he really believes that his family has been destroyed by minor behavioral mistakes that he made. Like, I think he believes he is a strong husband that has the capacity to have multiple wives multiple wives that are satisfied in the relationships. But because he made some minor mistakes behaviorally, he empowered them a little bit too much. He wanted to live in one house. He made little mistakes like that. That's the reason why the family has been destroyed. I don't think he's able to see, like, in aggregate how he has been treating the wives. I don't think he's connected that. That's number one. Number two, we learned that Kody has the same motivation profile of a 14-year-old. He is distressed by FOMO. That is his Achilles heel. And he is devastated by the idea that anybody would speak negatively about him. No matter how he's treated them, no matter how he's spoken about them, the idea that anybody would say anything negative is crushing to Kody. It has led to what I would describe as a narcissistic injury. I'm not making a diagnosis. I can't diagnose somebody from afar, but what is depicted as his level of reactivity to what is essentially gossip reeks of incredible insecurity. And that brings us to number 3 with Kody, which is one that I think is less funny and more serious. And I feel like I've complained about this on this channel a lot, and I fear being redundant. But Kody has decided not to talk about Maddie. Kody has lost his relationship with Maddie. Kody is pulling back. Apparently, Maddie is also pulling back. And there's not a lot of information given in this episode around why that's happening. But I don't care. I can't fucking stand the fact that Kody consistently chooses his ego over the well-being of his kids. With Gabe and Garrison, at this point of the game, he is ignoring them because they're not showing respect. And we see him in the same kind of time period also doing it to Maddie. And we know how things worked out. I'm not placing blame, but it is unconscionable to me to have a parent that chooses to ignore their kids because they're mad at them. And I know that if you asked Kody at this stage of the game, 2022, hey man, what are you doing with your children? Like, why are you doing that? He would say, well, look, it's them. They need to respect me. They should come and apologize because they made mistakes. Let's just say that's true. Let's just say they did make all of the mistakes. The fact that you have a guy that is in his 50s that is pushing on a 17-year-old, a 19-year-old, a 20-year-old, whatever, a very young adult to compromise how they feel to make the 55-year-old feel better it's such a sick position to have. If you are a parent, the needs of the child comes first. Full stop. Okay, on to a lighter topic. Christine. This one's not so light. But they're at a baby shower for McKelty, and both Christine and Kody and Robyn have to show up. And, there's a little bit, you have the two parents that won't talk to each other, and they're moving around, and it all looks very adolescent to me. And then Christine's interviewed, and she says, look, I'm not going to go say hi because that would suggest that I want to play nice. And I don't want to play nice. I'm not going to play nice.
How's it going? How is everything? That would be disingenuous. And that would mean I was going to be friends and friendly. And I'm not. I'm not going to be friendly.
I think that Christine's fan base looks at it and goes, you go, girl. Set boundaries. He treated you like shit. He treated your kids like shit. You don't have to talk to him. You don't need to play nice. Protect yourself. And I think that's a major mistake. Again, I think it is the adult's responsibility to protect the kids. McKelty wants both Christine there, Kody there, and even Robyn there. McKelty is, of all the kids, at least in my opinion, the one that is most trying to hold the family together. When Christine says, I am not willing to play nice with this man, Christine is elevating her needs above those needs of her daughter. Remember, Christine still has Truly, by the way, at home that goes back and forth to go see her dad. So imagine Truly's been removed from her dad's home. She lives with Christine, and she knows that her mom is so mad at her dad that she won't even be cordial to him. That is distressing for a kid, and it is not worth it for Christine. There's no reason for Christine to do that. I think, as I said the first time I watched this, she needs to get over herself. Put the kids first. And then lastly, I want to give a nod to Meri, who has found her voice in this episode. Meri does not seem to be happy with old Codester. And I think that Kody looks at it and goes, oh, this is just Meri making up a story, but what he is doing to her really is ruthless. He has told her, I don't want to be in a relationship with you. I don't love you right now. Oh, and by the way, the last 32 years, all bullshit. I never loved you. And it's a weird, again, like back to Kody's just not having an understanding of what he's doing. It's a really fucked up thing for him to do. I mean, think about it this way. She clearly still wants to be in a relationship with him. I have no doubt that if he asked her back in the marriage, she would say yes. I have no doubt. But she has to come to grips with the fact that he has no interest in being in a relationship with her. After 32 years, that is devastating. But it gets worse. Not only is he saying, I don't like you now, he's saying, by the way, those last 32 years, all bullshit. I was acting the whole time. Gotcha. It couldn't be sicker. And finally, Meri is verbalizing, at least to the cameras, Meri is verbalizing how she feels.
Go love Robyn. Love her the best that you can, but be honest with me.
And I have to say, it's hilarious to hear that and then to go back and think about Robyn being like, you think Meri wants to move on Coyote Pass with us? I mean, I know we're out of the relationship, but I mean, she can share the land, right?